Hello and welcome to this additional lecture in which we tackle some of the questions raised by students. I'd like to open by saying that online training has many advantages, but interactivity is not one of them. So I'm going to collect questions together like this, and occasionally I will add more information. So revisit the course every few months to pick that up. So now it's time to review and answer the questions that are arising. However, from the questions that are coming up, it does seem to be fairly plain that some people are looking for a purely mechanical way of trading, and that doesn't quite exist. It will always require some judgment, some skill, and some experience. If it was a wholly mechanical decision-making process, then it would have ended long ago. There would be no forex trading online. Computers would be programmed to ensure that the brokers would lose every single time, and they would be out of business already. So it's always going to require some practice, experience, and knowledge, and insight. And this means that practice and experience are integral. They really are part of the training process. Reading, watching, making notes isn't going to be enough. You need to do some actual trading. A demo account, such as the one that I give access to during the course, will go a long way to providing the practice and experience needed. However, we are all different, and we vary in the amount of use of a demo account that we each need. And the time needed isn't necessarily a straight question of intelligence. In fact, I find that average intelligence for trading is the best you can have. The next issue is adding experience and controlling emotion. It's very easy to get carried away and to spiral into trouble. I know I have actually done it. In fact, I've done it several times. And to help with this, it may be right for you to move from a demo account to a mini account, such as the one offered by Easy Forex. And I don't have any relationship with Easy Forex. But at the time of this recording, it was possible to open a trading account with them with just £25, or that's about $40. So let's get into the questions. Reader's question number 1. That question was, what counts as low volatility? When is it okay to use the plus or minus 50, that's the purple Jeff's line, as a pivot point? The answer is quite simple. Any daily movement of plus or minus 75 pips or less is a day of low volatility. Remember that around 70% of days give movement that is greater than 75 pips up or down. So we're taking 30% of the days as being low volatility days. Perhaps a more pertinent question would therefore be, how many trading days of low volatility would represent a period of low volatility that we want to use that plus or minus 50 Jeff's line in? And my response to that is that normally I would use something like 6 days. 6 days and make sure that we're straddling at least more than 1 week. But I would be avoiding trading under those circumstances anyway if that period of low volatility looks like it's a peak or a trough following a strong trend that's been lasting about 10 days or more. This really is an example of where experience comes into play. I have no doubt that being so cautious will have led me to miss some trading opportunities, but my particular trading style and experience says that's fine. I'll never be too far away from another potential trade. But saying all of that, we do need to be careful. As I said strongly during the main body of the course, no one knows which direction a price will leave a squeeze in. So I avoid trading at all if it looks like a squeeze is in progress. And whenever I'm trading, I always make sure that I have a protective limit order in place. Reader's question number 2. Why is it that I cycle through several time frames when I'm looking at the Bollinger Bands? Well, the answer is that in trading, we're always looking for additional evidence to confirm the direction of price movements. And when I'm using short-term trading, that's lots of trades with small profits on each trade, I use several time frames. I mainly use the 1, the 5 and the 15-minute Bollinger Band time frames for this. If the 5-minute frame is confirming the movement I've seen in the 1-minute picture, then the signal is stronger. If the 5 and the 15-minute pictures confirm the 1 minute situation, then it's stronger again. So if the price was bouncing off a 1 minute Bollinger Band, then it would indicate a change of direction in the price. If the same was happening at the same time on the 5-minute chart, then that indication would be stronger. But it would be stronger still if all three, the 1 minute, the 5-minute and the 15-minute charts were aligned and showing the same change. But also remember, I would be looking for other pivot point evidence at the same time, such as whole price numbers being reached. I would also be keeping a very careful eye on the Jeff's lines, and I would be obeying the rule of thirds. Reader's question number 3. Could you please give a view on the following image in respect of how you would trade it? So this image came in from one of the students on the course. And here it is. It's the pound-dollar chart, which is one I usually trade, and it's the 1 hour chart. The 1, 2, 3 and 4 points indicated on it were put in place by the student. So let's have a look at it. Well, the first thing I note is that we are in the red sell only area. We're looking at this point number 1 as the day opens. The vertical red line is the day opening price. So it opened at midnight, it went along for several hours and stayed around the opening level until we got to point 1 when there was some movement. However, we're in the red sell only area and we haven't been up and touched any of the Jeff's lines or the pivot points. So for me, I wouldn't be doing anything at this stage. If we had been in the middle, buy or sell, or in the lower buy only zone, then a trade entry point would have been available to me at point 2. At point 2, we've hit, or we're very close to hitting, the whole number 1.57. Again, as I've actually said in the trading, we're in close proximity. I don't actually have to touch every line every time. And I would have been looking at candle indicated by number 3, which says that we've clearly pivoted and moved away from the 1.57 whole price point. So we were close enough, and I would have entered. But remember, this is actually theory, because being in the sell only zone, I'm just using it as a demonstration. I would not have taken this trade. If I had entered the trade at this point, then the exit would have been triggered at 1.56, where the whole number pivot point and the upper Bollinger Band had been reached. However, remember again, I would not have been in this trade because we were firmly in the sell zone. But in the theory, you can see it's 0.5 here that I would have been coming out at. So back to the reality that we were in the sell zone. And at 0.5, if I was using what I call long-term trading, that's trading using mainly Jeff's lines, then we hadn't breached the plus 50 line, so I wouldn't be entering a sell trade either at that point. If I wasn't using long-term trading, but was using short-term, that's many small trades style of trading, then that 1.56 indicated by the number 5 would have been a good pivot point, because we've got a whole number involved and we've got the upper Bollinger Band involved, and I would have been looking then to enter a sell trade. Having then entered a short-term trade at 0.5, I would have been watching very carefully. I would have been sat by my computer. I wouldn't have gone away and left this alone, and I would have exited either at 0.6 or 0.7 in profit. At 0.6, the price had hit the middle Bollinger Band and had reversed. So that could be a signal to come out. Although it reversed, it didn't breach the line during the whole life of the actual candlestick. So therefore I would have been tempted to let it run. The next exit point available is 0.7, and that's where we'd reached the minus 50 Jeff's line. It is possible that there would have been a third exit point, and you could have watched and waited and come out of it. There's plenty of scope and plenty of profit in hand to do that, and that could have been down at the 157 whole price point number, or even slightly below that, minus 75 Jeff's line points. So that's all the questions we have for the moment. And again, just like to remind you that this is a purely online course with a very limited ability to be interactive. And I strongly suggest that you subscribe to Forex Trader magazine, which I edit, for ongoing education and to see many more questions answered.